All right, so on November 13th, 2022, around 2:23 p.m., Jeff Kernodle, Xana's father, he shows up at the Moscow City Police Department, and there he gets the news about his daughter, Xana's death, from Captain Cupholder Dollinger. Just roll with it. Ethan Chapin's family, they got the call too, probably even before Mr. Kernodle. Now Captain Barrett, he tells Sergeant Lawrence to handle the death notifications for Maddie Mogen and Kaylee Goncalves, because, that's just another Tuesday. Barrett hands Lawrence the university addresses for Mogen and Goncalves, and here's the kicker: no emergency contact information for Madison Mogen or Kaylee Goncalves. None. Zip. Nada. Scott and Karen Laramie, Madison Mogen's parents, they're on their way to Moscow. They get the news about Madison's death once they actually make it to the station. And then, when a Kootenai County deputy finally gets to Kaylee's parents with the news, they're like, oh yeah, we already knew. So, not only is it already a head-scratcher that Kaylee's parents apparently sat on the news of their daughter doing nothing, but this whole no emergency contacts thing? Yeah, that just opens up a whole new can of worms, doesn't it? You can find all this information in the MPD reports. Sequence number 8, written by Sergeant J.W. Lawrence. Fascinating stuff. So, I gotta ask, why do you think Maddie and Kaylee didn't bother with the emergency contact info? I'm genuinely curious what you folks think. Keep this little tidbit in mind as we push forward to the big reveal 3. Yeah, we're laying the foundation. Undercover informants who work for university campus police do so under confidential agreements that differ from standard student protocols. Universities require emergency contacts for all students, while students working as covert operatives, or shall we say agents, report to their handlers if they should run into trouble. These handlers are almost always police. Do you remember hearing Officer Brett Payne slip up while addressing unnamed students upstairs inside the 1122 King Road house, while standing outside looking up at the windows, wanting one of the residents to come downstairs, because there was noise coming from the off-campus rental at approximately 9 p.m. during Emily Allant's birthday celebration?
Children. Come to the door, guys. Send whoever lives here down to the door.
I owe you, Skip. The rest of my life. I'll never forget. You looked the other way on that Bevilacqua beef.
What? The Bureau would never turn its head on a murder charge.
All right, what else could you say at this point, right? What do you know about Scottsdale?
Arizona?
Yeah, I was thinking I would pick there to live when this assignment is over.
Assignment?
You know, when I'm in witness protection. They got more than 300 days of sunshine, golf, giant spring training. Naturally, I'm talking about after I do my 2 years in Lewisburg. I've been thinking about taking some courses while I'm in the camp. Psychology, criminology. Maybe go around and give lectures at police departments on OC.
That's an idea.
An airline ticket from the Scatino bus stop. Tony made the guy order blocks of these things through the sporting goods store.
I'll put it on file.
You could use it as probable cause for a warrant, couldn't you? Evidence of extortion, intent to defraud. Those are RICO predicates, right?
First, you'd have to tie the ticket to Tony. And he's too smart to use any of them himself. He probably moved them by now.
Oh.
However, this engagement party for the sister, I'm gonna want to wire you up. I know you're sensitive.
Fuck that. What the fuck was I, his errand boy?
Saturn, yeah.
Running all over, looking for his kid's science teacher's car. What the fuck is that? Any faith I had went out the window that very day.
CW16?
Passero, yeah. Fucking guy thinks I'm his friend now. Talking about RICO predicates and probable cause. All of a sudden, we're the good guys.
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
And I do regret, and I do wish I could see him again and hug him. I haven't been able to see him and hug him and tell him, You know what?
Thank you. I
I
appreciate
do
that.
remember that.
That
but
helps a
I don't
parent.
know if you
Well, when
remember
this is all
looking at me.
over,
Yeah.
you know, when
Yeah,
at the end of the trial, hopefully you'll have that moment.
yeah, yeah. Does that kind of stuff happen?
I think so. Yeah.
Is that kind of-
definitely? Yeah.
We talked about it. I told him. I said, "You guys nail this. Get this done. Dinner, beers on me.
Yeah.
We'll go and
Yeah, they
we'll,
did. He said,
we'll
you know,
laugh.
we did.
We'll laugh about some of the struggles and some of the the conflicts that."
And he goes, he said, I can't wait till I could tell you everything.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Right. There was no connection. There wasn't at all. We looked into every bit of it. We took a deep dive into it. We researched it. We utilized. It was not. It was not. Thank you. We can cut that off.
It has been said that there were pictures on his phone of groups of young people in Moscow, and that Maddie, possibly Kaylee, were in some of those photos. Is there any truth to that?
No truth at all. There was not. To this date, we have never found a single connection, anything, between any of the 4 victims or the other 2 surviving roommates with him. No pictures, no texts, no. There was rumor, speculation that he was following some of them on different social media sites. There was sites that were sent to us of, hey, this is him, he's following. They were either untrue or they were sites that people made that were completely fake. And so we had to research and go into every single one of those just to prove or debunk what somebody had made up and of course then that spread to the media and it went wild that he was following or there was a connection, and there wasn't. We wanted that, I think naturally we need that, what's the connection, what's the why, and we have found zero, never any connection.
Normally, university students choose a parent or guardian as an emergency contact, but Maddie and Kaylee didn't. Students operating as undercover agents are managed by special units. Separating these students' records from those of regular students. Info about student informants is deemed sensitive and subject to stricter confidentiality and tighter gatekeeping from unauthorized access. After all, these students' records are considered property belonging to law enforcement. In October 2021, Kaylee Goncalves gave her address as 1122 King Road to responding MPD officer Dustin Blaker when she reported a possible sighting of a missing person, 62-year-old Sharon Archer of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Didn't Kaylee move into the house in August of 2022 at the start of fall semester? Can you imagine if each of the Idaho 4 students were, in fact, reporting drug activity engaged in by those they had befriended and allowed into their party home? Which officer handled each of the dead students, I wonder? It would make perfect sense that Steve and Christy Goncalves were reluctant to make that trip to Moscow if the murders at King Road were specifically targeted, with the subject of a targeted attack being any of the 4 who had recently been exposed, or if, as Bill Thompson once said, the house itself was also subject of a targeted attack. Is this the reason why Dustin Blaker was angry at Maddie and Kaylee for doing what other students do on a Saturday night? Drinking and hanging out with other students downtown? This is impossible to do when you're home where the cops want you to be. No, they had a job to do. If so, you will never see those contracts. Have you ever wondered why Sergeant Blaker was so mismatched with a quadruple murder case after playing a prominent role with the Quad Cities Drug Task Force conducting controlled buys? Or why U.S. Attorney for the District of Idaho Kerwitz, better known for his campaign against drug trafficking and gang-related crimes, was pasted into the lawyer panel in the ninth inning of the Koberger case, which was marketed as a quadruple homicide case that raised lots and lots of hard, cold cash for the state of Idaho and the various governmental agencies within. But the question that lies closest to where we are with making sense of it all asks, why did Kaylee leave in early October? More importantly, why did she ever return to the King Road residence?